Many MPs have lost their seats in Parliament because they had never spoken in the floor of the House. But that has not been the case for Honorable Nasat Muhammad Ture, the Ayawaso East MP. This man has never said a word on the floor of the House, but has won his seat for 3 consecutive times since 2012. Let's speak to him and find out what has been his secret and what has kept him going on.
Some of you who comes to parliament always, you know how the parliamentary procedure is. You can't just wake up and start talking. You talk when the matter arise, when there are some reasons to talk. Yes, then you wake up and talk. Or most of our talking also is at the committee level. Yes, for as a member of parliament since 2012, and we started working 2013 as an MP. For me, today, all I believe is to make sure I work in my community. Today, people are saying, but the MP doesn't talk, but his people, they like him. They like him because of what? Because they like me because I do the right thing. Because I'm a servant who came to work for them, to make sure I change the life of my people. Today, if you enter my constituency, it's not about just talking. Some people, you come to parliament, you see them, they make noise. But when you enter their constituency, you won't see much project. You can't notice some changes. But today, when you come to my constituency, you can identify the number of projects that I have done in my constituency today. I'm sure that is the reason why my people continue to vote for me. My people thinks I'm the best person to lead them. So I'm sure that is the reason why.
We know that for you to be retained, it means you are doing something right, and it means that the people like you. What are some of the things you do in your constituency? I heard you attend a lot of their gatherings, whether RA, funerals, you show up all the time, you support them. But I just want to know, what are you identified for?
If you enter Nima today, if you start from, I don't know if you know Frankies, all the way from Frankies down, Nuria down, especially the Nima market. There you can see the paving blocks that before I became MP, or the whole area is muddy. When it rains, to become muddy. It takes 2 weeks. You can't even walk to that area. I remember the one pastor at the Roman church said, Saint Kizito said, today, because of the good work that I did there, before when it rained and their members are coming to church, from the station, before they got to the church, they have to put water there. People have to wash their legs, people have to wash their shoes before they enter church. But today, the whole area is paved, it's clean. So from the Nima market going to the Ashama station, when you enter there, you see the difference. You come to the hot coffee hot coffee even before I was born. Especially when it rains, you can't walk there. You can't pass there. Even cars cannot enter and connect to Kanda Highway. So I did the project from hot coffee all the way to Kanda Highway. And there was a mosque that closed the road from Kanda Highway. I was able to negotiate with the owner of the mosque, and I demolished the mosque and then opened up the road and then put up a new mosque there for them. And from the same area, there is another drain work that I did all the way. Is going to connect to the main Kaukudi drain. So the project is there. So when you go to downside, I don't know if you know Nima, downside there is a bridge. It's called Naza Bridge. They named the bridge after me. So when you go there, you see the bridge there. When I came, I said, so if we can put up a bridge here, so it will be easier for us to connect to Newtown Timber Market. So I started like joke. Today it becomes the major road, major bridge that will link you from my constituency to Newtown Timber Market. So, and then I said, oh, so why not we brought the idea of Operation Cement all your lungus, all the lungus. So today, thank God, at least we haven't finished all, but at least we were able to cement almost about 70% done. When you enter all the corners, you can see my handwork, my idea. When you go to Kanda, Ruga, I don't know if you know Ruga. You know Ruga? Yes. When you go to Ruga, you see the new public toilet that I'm putting up there. It is my project. The Operation Cement Yolungu, we extended it to Ruga. So when you go to Islamic Training Institute, the one on the Kanda Highway, initially before it's open. Yes, I came and said, oh, why? We can fence. Why can't we fence it? So we fence it. I put up another project in there. So today, the place is safe for the kids. Initially, when the kids are from the school, when they are crossing, sometimes because it's open, they cross anyhow. But now, because of the fencing, at least we did a pedestrian that they cross, and the traffic light also is there. So it's becoming safe. And then I have so many social interventions that I did, especially when it comes during the Ramadan. There are so many social interventions that I do help my mothers, my old ladies, my old fathers, my brothers, my sisters, that we do. So it's also part of the achievement. And then education. Also, I'm sure this is you can see the one I just paid for some people. I think about 4 of them, 10,000. One of them is 800. Yeah, I just pay for some of the students. So these are so we make sure when it comes to education too, we do, at least we can't do everything, but we make sure we support the youth to go to school. So when it comes to education, especially when the kids are writing the WASI, we make sure we support them with the math sets, and so on. Sometimes we give them books and others. So I think there is so many achievements that my people thinks I deserve to lead them. So that is why some people say, but the MP cry, he's quiet, he doesn't even talk. But why does the people, his people like him? Yes. So they like him because it's not just you come and talk. You don't do anything in your community. You don't do anything to your people. So that alone cannot make your people to like you. They will like you for some reason.
How is that feedback? Like how do they call you? Do you have a nickname? Is there a way you mingle with them in the constituency? Oh
yes. I'm always in my mic. Always. You know, even was it last Saturday? I attended funeral at Setkizito. There's a funeral there. Our former chairman died. Former constituency secretary. I attended the funeral last 2 weeks or so. One of my special assistant also lost his mother. I'm talking about when you come, my relationship with the, we have Christians, we have Muslims. You understand me? But we jaw to each other. So for my constituency, I'm visible. I'm always in my constituency. If I don't attend the program, I make sure I delegate my chairman to attend the program, especially outdoors, passing out, especially passing out. There are many. So funerals, any program, I make sure I deliver. Yes.
Well, that's impressive. But I want to ask you, I know it came to a breaking point for you when there was a violence in Nima in regards to some hoodlums. How did you feel about the whole thing, and what are your comments?
Yes, the issue, even though it has been resolved, we all know Nima used to, years back, people say, oh, Nima is a violent area, people this and that. Some people do think so, especially the taxi drivers. Those days, years back, when you want to come to Nima, you stop taxi, they don't want to come. But today, Nima is one of the peaceful area, even though the incident that happened the other time. It has been resolved. And then some years back, about 10 years ago, we used to have the watchdog. The watchdog, they are also very, very helpful for the community. But along the line, they don't function again. They stop working. So this time we'll make sure we revive them. With the watchdog, we'll be able to dismantle all the ghettos that we have. The ghettos also, they are part of those who are creating problem. So we make sure all the ghettos have been dismantled, because some of them, they don't live in Nima. They come from far places. Because of when they come to Nima, they say they have some gate bases, some ghettos. So they come there and do some bad things and go back. So people think all those things that are happening, it is in Nima, but it is not from Nima. They are not from Nima, guys. They come and go. So we are trying to make sure this time we work on that to make sure that we won't allow you to come from far place and then come and spoil our name. So we are making sure that we stop all those things. We make sure that all the ghettos have been no more, doesn't exist anymore, so that you won't come there and get any bad things to smoke or whatever. So we are working on that.
Everything in Nima has improved, from roads to education to... How did it happen? How did it work? I know you coach for being in parliament for close to almost 12 years. You've been in parliament.
We have executed projects and programs under the functions covering the following areas. 1, compliance with international maritime instruments, maritime labor, maritime safety and security, marine pollution and prevention, and inland water transport. Under maritime labor, the Ghana Maritime Authority has made progress in the following activities: compliance with IMO STCW training requirements, decent conditions for seafarers, shore leave for crew on board, seafarer recruitment and engagement, standardized seafarer employment agreements, pre-sea vocational training program, and a training model for seafarers on fishing vessels, among others. With regard to our compliance with IMO STCW training requirements, the STC Convention sets out minimum standards of training for all persons intending to pursue a seafaring profession. The authority therefore subjected itself to an independent evaluation in accordance with the STC Convention and presented the report to the International Maritime Organization panel of experts for consideration. The panel, after reviewing Ghana's submissions and subsequent engagements, has approved our continuous stay on the white list. This was ratified by the 104th section of the IMO's Maritime Safety Committee. Being on the white list is significant because it means Ghana gives a complete and full effect to the STCW Convention, and therefore certificates of competency issued by the GMA are deemed to meet the highest of standards. And this partly explains the reason why Ghana seafarers' certificates of competency rank in the top 3 in Africa. Under seafarer welfare and decent working conditions, the authority concerned with the welfare of our people has embarked on an extensive program to improve working conditions on board Ghanaian fishing vessels by regularly carrying out inspections, with particular focus on vessels' accommodation and other areas. Indeed, we have progressed in the ratification process of the Cape Town Agreement, which is to ensure and enforce improvement in the structure and efficiency of the hull and machinery of fishing vessels. Steps are also far advanced in incorporating the ILO Convention 188 into our domestic legislations to ensure decent living and working conditions on board Ghanaian registered fishing vessels and foreign vessels and foreign registered fishing vessels that call at our ports. These actions are in line with our quest to ensure social justice, that there will be no less favorable conditions for fishers, that is, for seafarers working in conventional merchant vessels or workers ashore generally. Then regarding shore leave and crew change, Honorable Minister, our seafarers break their backs to keep the wheels of the global economy rolling. It is therefore absolutely necessary that they are afforded the necessary facilities to rest. Shore leave is therefore mandatorily provided for in the Maritime Labour Convention. This is to ensure social and psychological well-being of the seafarers. Shore leave became of critical importance during the heady days of COVID-19, when crew change was difficult and some seafarers had to work beyond the duration of their contract. The GMA therefore designated seafarers during this period as essential workers in line with the United Nations and IMO recommendations and with the support of His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, the President of the Republic of Ghana. We exempted seafarers from all travel restrictions and lockdown measures. This step, taken by the Ghana Maritime Authority and the government of Ghana, did not go unnoticed. The GMA received an international award from the Nautical Institute, a body with consultative status at the IMO. Regarding seafarer recruitment and engagement, ladies and gentlemen of the press, a key function of the Ghana Maritime Authority is the recruitment and engagement of seafarers. In this regard, the authority has licensed seafarer recruitment and placement service providers to ensure that the recruitment and placement of seafarers is well regulated. It is also to protect seafarers from unscrupulous service providers and to protect their wages and other benefits under the Maritime Labour Convention. As part of efforts to increase seafarer engagement, Ghana recently signed MOUs with the United Kingdom, France, and Brunei Darussalam, bringing to 36 the number of MOUs that Ghana has signed with countries of high fleet, and this enables our seafarers or seafarers holding our certificates of competency to get employed on vessels or ships from these nations that we have signed these MOUs with. The authority has also drafted standardized seafarer employment agreements to be used by Ghanaian vessels, merchant and fishing vessels alike. This is to ensure that provisions under the Maritime Labour Convention and the ILO Convention 188 are adhered to. The Seafarer Employment Agreement clearly defines the rights of seafarers and also contains information such as duration of a seafarer's contract, hours of work and rest, monthly wages, including allowances for work done, and the capacity to be engaged. The draft agreement has been forwarded to the Labour Department for their input and subsequent implementation. Last year, at the Day of the Seafarer celebration, which is an annual event, our officials made presentations to select seafarers and their leaders on their rights, to which they are entitled under international law. This was to ensure that they can assert these rights. We have also developed a pre-sea vocational training program for ratings in conformity with STCW for deck and engine ratings. This initiative is to encourage more Ghanaian youth to take up seafaring careers and to facilitate their upskilling. The initiative also absorbs high school graduates into competency courses for ratings. The purpose for this initiative, what is the purpose for these initiatives? It is part of the authority's overarching vision of making Ghana a top seafarer supply nation to improve our foreign exchange earnings and the livelihoods of the populace. Development of a training model for seafarers on fishing vessels. In line with our mandate, the authority has developed a training model on basic safety and security training for fishing vessel personnel. This includes efficient deckhand and lifeboat training to ensure safety of life at sea. A curriculum for the familiarization and basic safety training with respect to the mandatory safety course and the ISPS course on ship security for Ghanaian fishing vessel personnel has been developed. Regarding maritime security, just as we have crimes onshore, we also have crimes offshore. This has called for a surveillance system. Therefore, at the GMA, we have acquired what we call a VTMIS, that is a Vehicle Traffic Management Information System. The Vessel Traffic Monitoring and Information System is an enhanced electronic surveillance system which has the capacity of monitoring the entire coast of Ghana, including the exclusive economic zone and the Volta Lake, using its integrated electronic detection and transmitting equipment. The establishment of the VTMIS increased the awareness of our maritime domain, leading to the decrease in illicit maritime activities in our waters. Further to the provision of safety and security of ships in our maritime domain, the following control areas within Ghana's maritime jurisdiction are under continuous surveillance. And these include the West Africa Gas Pipeline, the Tema Oil Pipeline, Abuaji Oil Pipeline, the Ghana Gas Pipeline, Jubilee Oil Fields, 10 Oil Fields, Sankofa Oil Fields, and then fishing prohibited zones. From our records, the following were achieved when the system was established and became fully functional. Piracy and armed robbery in our maritime domain drastically reduced. Movements of vessels within control areas were effectively monitored. Fishing within prohibited areas were controlled. The GMDSS was effectively implemented by the reception and relays of distress calls from vessels within our coverage area. Ship owners and ship operators have developed confidence in operating within our waters. Patrol boats. As a nation, we are confronted with maritime security threats, which emanate from the lack of control over our waters, which emanate from a lack of control over the waters of the Gulf of Guinea and insecurity along the Ghanaian coast. As part of our mandate to ensure security within Ghana's maritime jurisdiction, the authority has taken steps to complement the existing measures that have been instituted to address illicit maritime activities to maintain maritime security on our waters. In this regard, the authority has procured a Mercy-class patrol mothership and a daughter craft to improve surveillance and patrol activities within Ghana's maritime jurisdiction, particularly within the exclusive economic zone. Marine pollution. Honorable Minister, as you may know, the Ghana Maritime Authority superintends over the Ghana Maritime Pollution Act, which provides for the prevention, regulation, and control of marine pollution and applies to a Ghanaian ship wherever she is, a non-Ghanaian ship while it is in a port, offshore terminal, or place within the territorial waters of Ghana. In order to effectively achieve the main objective of this act, the Ghana Maritime Authority embarked on a concentrated MAPOL inspections campaign in 2021. These actions of the authority were so biting and effective that they were reported in the international maritime media, indicating how Ghana had gone tough on tackling marine environmental issues, with reports of marked increase in MAPOL Annex 4, that is sewage, and violations during port state control inspections, particularly in the ports of Takoradi and Tema. The GMA inspectors also targeted violations of garbage and oily water under MAPOL Annex 4, Annex 5, and under MAPOL Annex 5. Under this inspection campaign, vessels violating the MAPOL provisions were heavily fined. If the master refused to pay the fine, the vessel was detained in port pending judgment in court. I am happy to say that these actions drastically reduce ship source pollution in our marine environment. Let me use this platform to caution agents of foreign vessels who, by their actions, encourage these foreign vessels to do things they dare not do in the ports of their originating countries, such as the discharge of raw sewage and garbage into the ocean. We wish to serve notice that the authority will be relentless in the execution of its mandate against marine pollution. Oil spill. The Ghana Maritime Authority also dedicated 2 of its boats equipped with oil spill equipment, including booms, to prevent marine environmental pollution. There have been simulation exercises in the containment and prevention of oil spills from spreading. Trash skimmers. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, cognizant of the threats to our waters posed by plastic from marine and shore sources, and also the danger posed to our water bodies by water hyacinth, the authority has taken delivery of trash skimmers to deal with these threats. We are all aware of the rapid increase of plastic litter in the marine environment and its negative effects on marine life, biodiversity, and human use of coastal and marine resources. It is for these reasons that the authority procured 3 aquatic trash skimmers, or simply put, marine debris harvesters, to help address the plastic litter issue in our waters. The skimmers were delivered to the Volta River Authority and are currently operated on the inland waterways, Pond, Headwater Pond, and the Volta, and the Lower Volta and Adan, to clean up the marine debris, to harvest water hyacinth and plastics that have always been a very big issue affecting the hydroelectric power generation of our dam. Inland waterways. As mentioned earlier, the object of the authority is to regulate, monitor, and coordinate activities in the maritime industry. And for the purposes of achieving this objective, the authority puts in measures to regulate activities on shipping in the inland waterways, including the safety of navigation. In order to effectively carry out these functions, the authority now operates fully resourced satellite offices at Dambai, Axim, and Yeji. The job description of the staff at these satellite offices is to conduct effective surveillance and patrols, as well as search and rescue operations on the inland waterways, and also provide assistance in regulating shipping activities there. Boat operators training. As part of its function to regulate activities of shipping in the inland waterways, including a safety of navigation, the authority has intensified its safety and fire training programs for boat operators. These safety sensitization programs have been identified as one of the most effective measures to ensure safe inland water transportation and reduce boat accidents. The sensitization programs cover passenger safety education, boat line markings, dissemination of weather information, among others. The safety debates at the major boat operating centers involve the following stakeholders: fisher folks, boat operators, boat owners, boat transport commuters, local authorities, meteorological services, Fisheries Commission, the Volta Lake Transport Company, VRA, and the Ghana Navy. In conclusion, the prospects in the industry are unending, and these prospects hold the key to the socio-economic development of our nation. Therefore, if you have been excited by this trip into the world of the GMA, we invite you to become our partners in tapping all the potentials in the industry for the benefit of the generality of the Ghanaian people. Thank you very much.
That was a very insightful presentation by the Director General of Ghana Maritime Authority. Thank you so much, sir. Even as a layperson, I think I took some notes and a lot from this presentation. Among other things, that there are a lot of opportunity within the maritime sector, even for SHS leavers. So if you are looking for some non-conventional programs, as we seek to address unemployment in the country, you may like to explore some of those opportunities, most especially by taking the pre-sea vocational training program that is introduced by the Ghana Maritime Authority. Also, one takeaway is the fact that we shouldn't pollute our water bodies, the sea, inland water, because it costs the country a lot of money to have it cleaned. If you are an agent, don't be an enabler of foreigners who will come and destroy our water bodies and cost us so much to get some equipment to have it cleaned. So I believe this is a message that we will encourage journalists present and those watching from home to pass it forward. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now come for your questions. If you have any question, you can raise your hand. We will take 2 sets of questions, and then after the first set, I'll call the Director General to address those questions, and then we'll come for a second set. But as I was sitting there, I was also picking some questions from our social media handles, so I will start with those and then come to you for your questions. There was a question about piracy. The person says the Gulf of Guinea has gained notoriety when it comes to piracy. How are you dealing with the situation as Ghana Maritime Authority? The second question says, what are some of the challenges you face in executing your mandate with regards to prevention of maritime pollution? Those are the questions that I picked from our social media handles. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have a question, kindly show by hand your name and media house, and then proceed to ask your question. Okay. Yeah.
Sorry. My name is Sarah Apenkro from TV3. I want to find out from the director. He said those who violated the pollution rules on the water bodies, some were fined and some cases are still in the courts. If he can help us with the number of people who were fined and the number of cases at the law courts. You also spoke about the trash skimmers that 3 of the aquatic marine debris harvesters have been bought. Can you help us with the total cost of these particular harvesters? Thank you.
Thank you for the question. Please, if any. Okay, so we'll take the second question from this.
Hey, good morning. My name is Della Russell. I work for the Daily Graphic. The DG made mention of safety training for fishermen. And I want to believe safety is very key to them. But then in doing this training, how safe are the vessels being used by these fishermen? Because we all saw recently the accident involving the Comforter 2, and we don't know the status of the other people who were declared missing at sea. So what is the monitoring regime like for these fishing vessels? And then also I want to find out about the okay, so I think Sarah asked that question, so I will just want to know how much was generated by way of fines that the DG mentioned regarding the polluters. Okay.
Okay. Please, we can take one more for this round. Okay, Nana, please.
Yes, good morning. My name is Nana Poku from the Research Light. The other day you met us, you did indicate that you are removing the tree stumps from the water lake. The water lake, tree stumps in the water lake. I don't know how far you have reached. I want to know the development so far. And then the problem with the water hyacinths, you have to have acquired some machinery to deal with it. It's taking over our water bodies. I don't know the arrangement so far. And then my last question, what are the qualifications for people who want to be employed by the GMA, who want to work there? Because what specific qualification do you expect? Who should those people be to be employed by your outfit? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So that will be it for the first round. We'll come back to you.
Honorable Minister, with your kind permission, I'll take some of the questions, and then since I'm here with my technical team, they would also take some of them. Or if there's the need for any further expansion on any point I make or any further elaboration, they will do same. Now, we're beginning from the bottom regarding the removal of tree stumps. Upon assumption of office, we realized that that was one of the major causes to both accidents. So depending on the availability of funds, we earmarked some for removal, and we have done a lot in that regard. Ujakopi, Yeji, quite a number. We've done a lot of them. We've done we have removed a lot of tree stumps from some of our navigable routes to ensure that these accidents that are occasioned by tree stumps are reduced to the barest minimum. So it is an ongoing exercise, and depending on the availability of funds, we would always take on areas that are brought to our attention. We certainly will do that. Then you also spoke about, your question also had to do with water hyacinth. We said we had brought in these trash skimmers to harvest debris that have found their way into our waters. And again, to remove this water hyacinth that have become also a menace for boats and even for the Akosumo Dam. The 3 tri-skimmers have been deployed, and I mentioned that we have one on the lower Volta, one in the upper Volta, and then one at Adan, and they are working as I talk to you. They are, for now, the focus is on ensuring that the areas that have concentrated water hyacinths are removed, and areas along the dam that these weeds are beginning to pose a menace to the operation of the dam. These water hyacinths are harvested by the tri-skimmers. We've entered into a partnership with the Volta River Authority, as I indicated earlier, and at the moment, the equipments or the tri-skimmers are being operated by them. So they have been effectively deployed. Your question, there was also a question on how safe are our fishing vessels. And then you made a reference to the accident involving the Comforter 2, which happened somewhere off the Takoradi coast. I mentioned that we embark on periodic inspections on our vessels. We have officers whose sole duty is to do this. But just as you have DVLA charged with the responsibility of ensuring that the vehicles you find on our roads are roadworthy, I'm sure you also are aware or mindful of the fact that checks could be done today, and tomorrow some of the vehicles that have gone under the scrutiny of DVLA have gotten involved in an accident here or there. The accidents may have been occasioned maybe by some recklessness on the part of a driver or an oncoming vehicle or some mechanical problem. The same applies to some of these issues. Our people continue to execute their mandate by way of inspecting these vessels, boats, to ensure that they are of the required standards. But you would also agree that accidents do happen. That is why immediately this accident happened off the coast, somewhere off the Takoradi coast, we have commissioned an investigative body to go into the matter and come up with exactly what occasioned that particular accident. We are yet to be seized with the report, and therefore we cannot attribute the accident to a lack of inspection or any other reason. As soon as that report is made available to us, we assure the public that we will make it public. Yes, so again, I want to also assure you that in terms of monitoring the safety of those vessels, our inspectors are doing what is expected of them. We have some station in Tema, the Tema port, we have some station in Takoradi, and we have people who are also stationed along the Volta Lake. And we mentioned the fact that offices have been established in Yeji, Dambai, and Axim. These are new satellite offices that we have just opened. And among other things, they are to ensure that these boats and ships are they comply with the conventions and standards that we have set for them. Yes, and then one of the questions had to do with the challenges that we are confronted with when it comes to the fight against piracy. The challenges are enormous when it comes to this fight, because as you know, the Gulf of Guinea cuts across a lot of coastal states. And one state, a coastal state like Ghana on its own, cannot fight piracy by its own actions. It calls for collaborative efforts, and therefore mechanisms have been put in place so as to pool together resources by member countries to ensure that at least we are able to stem this tide or bring it down to the barest minimum. And you will agree with me that in recent times we haven't had any reports about piracies off our coast in recent times. So yes, we recognize that it is a challenge to shipping. We recognize that it is inimical to business interests, and therefore as an authority, we have also been able to acquire these boats I referred to earlier, the recent one being the Yasantua, to augment the fleet that we already have so that our people are able to go on patrols so that we avert any possible piracy attacks. Now, on this matter, my deputy director in charge of maritime security would also throw a bit of light on this. Then we also have a question regarding challenges that confront us when we try to execute our mandate, or in executing our mandate of preventing maritime pollution. I refer to one of them. Again, port inspectors go on board these vessels and they try to ensure that these vessels that call on our ports are compliant with some international conventions. So where the vessels are found not, for instance, have proper ways of disposing of their sewage or garbage, they attract sanctions. And you recall that I made a reference to some people parading themselves at agents would make an undertaking that such vessels, when detained, are allowed to go, and then they would ensure that whatever fines are imposed would be duly paid. And we also do this by allowing the vessels to go to ensure that we do not unnecessarily keep vessels too long under detention. But a challenge that comes up immediately is that as soon as the vessel leaves our ports, then all of a sudden you find some of these agents coming up with some questions regarding the findings of our inspectors, questioning some of the findings because they know we don't have the vessel here. That is why I said in the presentation that the authority will not relent in its efforts in ensuring that we prevent it completely, the issue of marine pollution in our waters. So for such people who collaborate with some of these principals or these vessels, the warning is to desist. Because for how long can you go on coming to us and asking for an undertaking to allow a vessel to go, and as soon as the vessel leaves our shores, you begin to now raise issues? So this is one of the challenges when it comes to the execution of this mandate. And having said that, I would invite maybe Captain Ankama, Deputy Director, Maritime Security, to highlight on the issue of piracy. And again, Captain Inusa should also hold himself in readiness to throw some more light on some of the challenges that confronts us when it comes to the issue of prevention of marine pollution. If there are any follow-up questions regarding some of the answers that have been provided, I'm sure you can draw attention to them, and then we'll revisit them. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for the opportunity. I think my Director General has said it all when it comes to what we are doing to ensure that piracy and other insecurity in our maritime environment is brought under control. I will just add a few. And that is, as he said, piracy doesn't know boundaries, and it cuts across, and the pirates can be everywhere. So there is a lot of cooperation and collaboration going on within the region, which most often is spearheaded by the Ghana Maritime Authority. We have this Yaoundé Code of Conduct, which has grouped, or Yaoundé Architecture, if I should say so, which has grouped the countries along the coast in maritime groups so that they can cooperate. The navies within these regions, within this region, under this architecture, are encouraged, and they do actually conduct joint exercises which are being coordinated by the Ghana Maritime Authority so that any of these insecurities will be checked in. And also, Ghana Maritime Authority has helped in the operations of other friendly, foreign countries, like European countries, whatever, who actually also come in to help us to check this piracy in our waters. So, just for you to know what the effect of this has been, is just to give you some few statistics. From 2019, we had this insecurity across the Gulf of Guinea, totaling about 127 in 2018. It came to 139 cases reported in 2020, and by the end of 2021, we had just 74. That tells you how the cooperation, the activities of Ghana Maritime Authority, the activities of the Ghana Navy and other navies in the region are helping to solve this problem. And as my boss said, since the beginning of the year, I don't think you heard much about this kind of piracy issues. And it all goes to all these things I've been talking about. And when it comes to going far out at sea, as I mentioned, Ghana Navy and the other navies come in to help us. And within our territorial waters and coasts, Ghana Navy, we have our boats, as has been said, and we do everything possible to ensure that we have maritime security under control in our region. I think. Thank you very much. That's all I have.
Okay.
Thank you for the question. When it comes to the seafaring profession, on the vessel there are two main areas. Those in charge of the navigation, they are the bridge, and those in charge of the machinery, the engineers. There are two routes of becoming a seafarer. It's either you go in strictly to the Maritime University and undertake one of these courses, that is a diploma. If you are more inclined to the arts, the geography and the other aspects, then you may look at the nautical sciences. But generally, there is, for those coming from the high school background, there is no fast rule as to what you should have. You enter the profession, and depending on your competencies and capabilities, you choose where to go to. And the interest